Hey guys, and welcome back to another tech suit review. Today we're talking about an Italian brand I've not yet featured on the channel, Aquarapid, and more specifically their performance racing subsidiary, AQ Race. In more recent times you may have seen this brand sponsor Laszlo Che, one of the all-time greats in European swimming, and would have probably gone down in history as one of the best swimmers of all time had it not been for the existence of Michael Phelps. They have a range of 3 different tech suits in the AQ Race lineup, and today we're going to be looking at the flagship of these, the Kronos. Before we do go any further into what the Kronos is all about though, I would just like to take the time to say that if you do enjoy the channel, it would be very much appreciated if you could subscribe and press the like button. By liking my videos, you will help my videos get out to a wider audience. So here we have the Kronos, and it comes in this little tubular duffel bag branded with AQ Race, and honestly this is potentially my favourite carry pouch that any flagship tech suit, or any tech suit for that matter, comes in. And you know I give other brands like Mizuno a lot of stick for just coming in these rubbish cardboard boxes with nothing to actually store them in a neat bag. This bag is much like a mesh bag you'd have your training kit in, and does an absolutely awesome job. It's easy to use, can sling into your race bag, and I wish more brands took a leaf out of Aquarapid's book and done something similar. Sorry, I've just noticed it's raining. Maybe you can hear it hitting on the tarpaulin above our pool. Like, it's actually raining fairly heavy, and it's like 36 degrees out with a real feel of 41. I have no idea what's going on. Sorry. So yeah, the Kronos, here it is. Hopefully you won't be distracted too much by the rain. I have it in one of their most understated colorways, but it comes in some brighter variations, a red and a blue. This is their all black with just these different variation of grey seams, and I think it's a cool looking suit. I must say, it's got a big bold AQ Race logo here, and the seams really. I think this suit is best distinguished by the fact that it uses a pretty run-of-the-mill, papery, hydrophobic material, but then sort of has this spider web of taping seams all across the suit, which, as you know if you've watched any of my other reviews, have a lot of impressive effects. The hamstring taping will do great things for body position and up kick. The other seams around the quadriceps here and on the hips will be great for compression. That's exactly why they've been used by Aquarapid. They are very purposeful, thought out, and all part of the design. Being a completely single layer suit, the seams do obviously run from the outside and into the inside of the suit, very much like the Arena Carbon Core effects. They are also very strong taping with a great amount of energy and reflex to them, so that when you do pull them, they really want to snap back into place. Talking a little bit more about the material, it's a 53% polyamide, 47% elastane makeup, nothing out of the ordinary there, and the lining is 66% polyamide and 34% elastane. They actually, funnily enough, talk about the lining into a little bit more detail on the website, saying it has some sort of micro bio something or another effect, saying that the inner lining is microbiome something or another. Basically it stops mold or anything gross growing, but apparently that will help aid the sensory feeling in the water. I personally think that's a load of rubbish. There's no way that the modesty lining for the crotch can both stop the development of mold and make you have a better sensory feeling in the water. I don't think you want to have any sensory feeling in that area of the suit anyway, to be completely honest. Now, the suit did initially cost a pretty steep €229 or £200 in the UK, but more recently it has been discounted fairly heavily, and you can pick this up in the UK now for under £130 from Pro Swimwear, which is absolutely awesome and really will change the way I evaluate the suit. I think it's time for me to put this suit on, show you how it looks and fits, and talk a little bit more about the performance side. So I've got the suit on, and my first initial thoughts with this was that it has a very similar cut to the Speedo Laser Racer X that I reviewed last weekend. I say this because it comes up very high above the knees and sits very low on the waistband. The waistband is much akin to any other of the top brands out there, almost like that football short waistband. While I don't find it near as uncomfortable as I do on the Laser X, it still sits on that slightly awkward position. Now, as I say regularly, I don't like a suit coming down to my kneecaps, but I think it could come a little bit lower than this. What I do also find that is a little bit odd with this suit, that is on the back of it, I just don't feel like it's pulled up high enough. And when I'm wearing this at meets and walking up behind the blocks for my race, I find myself pulling it up ever so frequently because I just don't feel like it's sitting on a comfortable position. Maybe that is because I've been spoilt by wearing high-waisted suits and you feel locked in from the get-go, but I did find this to be a very small suit and on the border of a little bit of discomfort. The size of this suit is actually a size 30, which is really, really quite odd because I'm used to wearing suits that are size 26 or 28 from any other major brands. And I was actually encouraged to get a size 30 by Aquarapid. They looked at my measurements and said, this is the best size for me. And as much as I've said it feels a bit small, I say that in terms of actually the coverage, not about how the suit fits. And the suit goes on well. It's not a horrible experience. And I definitely think this is the right size of Kronos for me. I don't think I could get any smaller, and I don't think I'd want any bigger. So I think Kronos done a good job of fitting the suit right for me, but I just think it's worth noting that if you do wear a 24 or a 28 or in another brand, you probably want to size up a little bit with Aquarapid, or do what I did. Give them an email, ask the question, send your measurements and let them pick for you, because it's always going to be a more accurate fit that way. And we all know how difficult it is to buy suits online without having tried them on. Now, if we look a little bit more closely at the AQ Race logo, you can see it sort of disintegrating, and I think with a few more wears I will completely lose the logo. But the actual rest of the suit, I feel, is going to last a pretty lengthy time. The material is thick and doesn't show any signs of degradation, and the thick seams, I just don't think I think these are bulletproof. I don't think anyone is going to have any issues with these epic seams like you do on some other brands like the Mizuno inner thigh seam, which has a real tendency to tear. Now, while I do stand by it to feel very similar to the Speedo Laser Racer X in terms of cut, of all suits I've tried, this feels most similar to the Tier Venzo. That's because of the smart skeleton of taping it has, being very similar in some instances to what the Tier Venzo has, most notably this quadricep taping that no other brands have opted to go for. That's not to say I think the suit's the same. This is a completely single layer suit, while the Venzo is mostly dual layer, and you really do notice that. And then when you go back to the cuts are completely different, with the Venzo coming down low on your leg and me choosing to wear the high-waisted version of the Venzo. The material does feel like it doesn't have a lot of stretch or move to it, but I think that's solely because of how these tapings influence it. I think if you had a suit of this material without any of the taping, I think there'd be a lot more flexibility and give than what this has. And potentially that is another one of Aquarapid's models. I've not been fortunate enough to try their cheaper models, but their cheaper models don't seem to have as elaborate taping, but maybe they use the same material. So I'm potentially describing exactly what one of their other models is. So what do I think about the performance of this suit? I think it's an extremely compressive sprint suit. When I raced in this over shorter distances, the compression felt great, and you could really feel the intertwined taping all just holding your muscles in place in your legs, really giving them a little bit of life to kick hard towards the end of the race. That being said, I didn't feel any upkick support from this hamstring taping. Maybe it's only because it's a singular tape and all the competitors that really have that upkick driven into them have twin taping or even Mizuno's new X taping layout. Water repellency seems to be pretty so-so. Half the water going on it beads, the other half does take a little bit of absorption. I don't think a suit absorbing water is the end of the world. Obviously we all know that suits absorb more and more water the longer and the more we wear them. I think even from the get-go this did absorb a little bit, take a little bit on board, and that's okay, and you still feel that propulsion effect when you dive in. Had this been at its retail price of £200, I would say it was a little bit overpriced. I'd definitely like to see it add a little bit more tape into the back of the leg, definitely going towards that twin taping method, and I'd also like to see it dual layered, with the taping sitting on the internal layer and an external stiffer layer on the back. That being said, when you can now get it for as cheap as 126 British pounds, my mind has changed to the suit. And while I still am not a big fan of the cut, I do love how the taping really does hold me in place and offer awesome compression. And if you did want an extremely compressing suit for under £130, this would be one of my recommendations. I think it would be a great alternative to the Arena Carbon Air, which is your more flexible, mobile suit for a big, broad selection of races. But I think for a sprinter, this would be preferable to the Carbon Air and something you should probably look at. If you do race 50 and 100 freestyle, back or fly, then I think have a little look into this suit, see how much it is wherever you are based, and if it is around that price, and you want a suit that's going to offer great compression, I think this might end up leaving you very happy. As always, thank you for watching my video, and I really do hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please do leave a thumbs up. If you could also subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, you will know exactly when I upload another video. And please do leave a comment if you have actually got any experience with the Aquarapid Kronos. And tell me, what did you think? Did you enjoy wearing it, or did you have some issues? Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next video.